Hello and welcome to this lesson on how to play the song How Can a Poor Man Stand Such Times and Live by Ry Cooder. Now this is going to be based on my transcription of the record plant video, which can be found on YouTube, and I'll put it in the description below so you can go watch it for yourself. Now, disclaimer, Ry is playing this in open G tuning, whereas I'm teaching it in standard tuning. For a couple of reasons. One, it can be kind of a pain to change tuning all the time if you're playing different songs and one of them's in open G. If it's possible to play it in standard, then that's actually a pretty useful thing to be able to do. The other thing is it's educational if you're not constantly in open G tuning to be able to play some Ry licks in standard. And that's basically the long and short of it. Now, I said that he was playing in open G. He's playing in open G with a capo at the 2nd fret, so the song is actually in A. So the chords of the song are as follows. The first chord is A. So the doctor comes around E. His face all bright, back to A. And he says, in a little while, you'll be alright, back to E. And then back to A. All he gives is a humbug pill, a dose of D, and a great big B minor. Tell me how E can a poor man stand such times and live, and back to A. And that is the formula for the whole song. It just goes around those chords, mostly on A and E, and then has that nice kind of, I don't know, thing from D to B minor, and that's it. Okay, so I'll just teach each phrase of the song, but I'll try and include a little bit of detail about, why we're playing the particular frets on the particular strings we're playing. So the song starts with this lead in that sounds like this. Doesn't sound like that, it sounds like this. And that's just hammering from the 2nd to the 4th fret on the 4th string. So put your index finger, hammer on with your middle finger. And then we're going up to the 7th fret, the 4th string. I'm fretting that with my pinky. You're going to see why we need to do that in a second. And then just playing the open 5th string. So this is clearly just leading into A. It's very typical Ry Cooder kind of thing. And so the timing of that is 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Okay. Next phrase is we're playing over A. It's this. And what that is you want your middle finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string, your index finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and then you're going to hammer on your, you're going to play those both at the same time as a double stop, hammering on your 3rd finger on the 6th fret of the 3rd string, then taking the 3rd finger off and playing that double stop again. Then with your pinky finger, fretting the 7th fret of the 4th string. So what's going on here? This is, if you imagine that we're playing around this kind of E-shaped A chord, standard A bar chord that looks like that, then what your middle finger is doing is picking out part of that. That's the 5th of the chord. And what you're doing with your other fingers is you're hammering up from the 2nd of A to the 3rd of A. So you're just kind of entering a pretty standard A chord, then bringing it off, creating a kind of sus2 sound, and then using your pinky finger to pick out the root of the chord. Okay, now we're on to E. This part sounds like this. Now you can hear melodically that's just the same melody being played over E. You want to play a double stop of, what we did before, the 5th fret of the 2nd string and the 4th fret of the 3rd string. And also in the bass, you're going to play with your thumb the open 6th string. That's an E. So that's. Now put your pinky down on the 7th. Put your pinky down on the 7th fret of the 4th string. Play that. Then play that same hammer-on you played before. That double stop hammer-on. That same double stop again. And then the 7th fret of the 4th string. So that's. Okay, so what's going on there? Well, we're kind of playing around this D-shaped E chord. Now, if you know anything about the caged system, if you don't, look it up, but if you do, you're going to know that you can play an E chord in a lot of different places on the neck. And one of those is going to resemble the shape you play when you play a normal open position D chord. So that's just the 4th fret of the 1st string, 5th fret of the 2nd string, 4th fret of the 3rd string, with that E in the bass. Or you could play it like, this or something, but whatever. So what's happening here is we're really just playing that kind of, that E chord shape, and then adding on a kind of melody onto it that's going from the 4th to the 6th to the 5th to the 4th of the chord. Okay, next part is this. Okay, and so we're back on A, so we're playing the open 5th string, that's an A, and then we're playing the 2nd fret of the 2nd fret of the 2nd string and the 2nd fret of the 4th string together as a double stop. And then we're playing the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and the 4th fret of the 4th string. And you can see how I'm fingering this. I'm kind of barring across the 2nd fret with my index finger, and then I'm adding on my middle finger and my ring finger to get those next 2 notes. And then finally, I want to play the 4th fret of the 3rd string. So that's. Okay, so what's going on here? Well, that should look pretty familiar. This is just a regular open position A chord that you're picking out a couple notes from. This next bit is just a kind of a 6th sound. So if you know what 6ths are, great. If you don't worry. But we're kind of just playing 2 little parallel melodies coming off of this normal open position A chord, and then we're just adding in a kind of 9th here. So next part sounds like this. Okay, so that is literally just the D-shaped E chord I showed you earlier. That's 4th fret, 4th fret of the 1st string, 5th fret of the 2nd string, 4th fret of the 3rd string, and with a open 6th string in the bass. Just play that all at once. Then moving my middle finger up to bar on the 5th fret, so that we're picking out the 5th fret of the 1st string, 5th fret of the 2nd string, then putting my middle finger down to fret the 6th fret of the 3rd string. So that's. play that all as a kind of triple stop, you know. Then playing the open 5th string, because we're going back into A, and that is the rhythm of all that is going to be like this. So that's chord, bass, chord. That's just a kind of rhythmic embellishment that Ry often does. You know, you could just do that, but he likes to stagger it, which is quite an appealing sound. So what are we doing there? Well, that's, as I said, just picking out an E chord and then going straight back to an A chord. That's recognizably just the normal E-shaped, it's just the top 3 strings of the normal A bar chord. Okay, and next, same lead in we did before. That's 2nd fret of the 4th string, 4th fret of the 4th string, 7th fret of the 4th string, and then the open 5th string, like before. Now, it sounds like this. So that's just sliding with your 2nd finger from the 4th fret of the 3rd string to the 6th fret of the 3rd string. Then adding on your index finger at the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Then playing both of those as a double stop. Then add your pinky on at the 7th fret of the 2nd string and add your ring finger on at the 7th fret of the 4th string and play those 2 as a double stop. And then take those off again and just play that original double stop. So that's... Again, that's just sliding into that normal barred A chord, and then that pinky is just adding on the 6th of the chord, and that ring finger is just picking out the root of the chord. But what you get is this kind of melody note going up, and this bass note going down, which is kind of cool. Kind of cool having your this kind of counterpoint moving in other direction, opposite directions. Next part is this. That's just sliding down from the 6th fret of the 4th string to the 4th fret of the 4th string, then pulling off to the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then sliding back up to the 6th fret and playing it twice. Next part sounds like this. That's kind of cool, classic Ry Cooder thing. Again, it's well, let me tell you how to do it first. It's the 4th fret of the 5th string in the bass and the 5th fret of the 2nd string in the treble. Play those both at the same time. Then just move your index finger, which was fretting the bass, up 1 fret to the 5th fret of the 5th string. And with your ring finger, fret the 6th fret of the 3rd string. So play those both at the same time. And then move your index finger up again 2 frets and play the 7th fret of the 5th string in the bass and the open 2nd string in the treble. So that sounds like that. That's pretty cool. That's a kind of similar thing where the bass is walking up into the root E, and the treble is moving down to the 5th. That's quite quite a cool kind of counterpoint thing when you play them at the same time. Next part sounds like this. So that is keeping your index finger where it was at the 7th fret of the 5th string, then using your ring finger to bar the 9th fret of the 2nd string, 9th fret of the 3rd string, and 9th fret of the 4th string, but then also putting your pinky on at the 10th fret of the 2nd string. So that's making a chord that sounds like this. And the whole thing is getting slid down like this. So what's that? Well, that's just a normal A-shaped E chord, except with the pinky added on to give it a, what's that, sus4 sound. So a sus4 is when you replace that 3rd with the 4th of the, I don't know what you call that, with the 4th. And the whole thing's getting slid down. Next part sounds like this. Okay, so that is playing the 7th fret of the 6th string with your pinky finger, and then playing the 4th fret of the 2nd string, 4th fret of the 3rd string, and again the 7th fret of the 6th string, all at the same time. So I'm using my index finger to bar those 2 notes up there. And then adding your middle finger on at the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and playing that double stop. Then playing the 7th fret of the 5th string, fret that with your pinky, and then same double stop again. So that whole thing is. Again, this is over E. So what you're hearing there is a little figure in the bass that's going from the 5th of E, B, to E, the root. And in the treble, it's a kind of major 7th finding its way into the root. So, and it's kind of articulated in this nice kind of Ry Cooder way where you're staggering the treble and the bass. And then before we come off the E chord, we're just going to outline the chord a little bit more by playing this. Now that is the 6th fret of the 4th string. I'm fretting that with my ring finger. The 4th fret of the 3rd string, that's covered by the bar. And then the 5th fret of the 2nd string, which I'm fretting with my middle finger. So that's, which if you know a little bit about Ks, you can see that what we're doing here is outlining a C-shaped E chord. So here's an open position C chord. That very same shape in our fingers is just being played higher up to outline E rather than C. Okay, cool. So next part sounds like this. So that is, first we're on A, so we're playing the open 5th string, that's A. Then we're playing the 2nd fret of the 1st string, I'm fretting that with my pinky. The 2nd fret of the 3rd string, I'm fretting that with my ring finger. And the 2nd fret of the 4th string, I'm fretting that with my middle finger. So then the open 1st string, taking the pinky off, and the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then play the open 5th string, and then play the 1st and 3rd strings again, hammering on with your pinky, and then playing the open 1st string and the 3rd string at the 2nd fret again, and then finally just playing the 3rd string. So that's again, this is, well, so what's going on there? Well, this is kind of just an open A shape. I'm fretting it a little differently just for the sake of kind of economy. But what you're hearing is the sound of an A with this kind of melody going from the 5th to the 6th of the chord. That's really all there is to it. Again, it's got this kind of staggered bass thing of but it's fairly self-explanatory. Next we have this. So that's sliding back up to the 6th fret of the 3rd string and playing the open 5th string, that's the A in the bass. We're in A again. And then a double stop of the 7th fret of the 2nd string and the 7th fret of the 3rd string. So, and I'm fretting that with my pinky on the 5th fret of the 2nd string and my ring finger on the, sorry, did I say 5th? I meant 7th. My pinky on the 7th fret of the 2nd string and my ring finger on the 7th fret of the 3rd string. Then down into a double stop that we should be used to fretting. That's the middle finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string and the ring finger on the 6th fret of the 3rd string. Sliding that down 2 frets, but same shape. So that's the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and the 4th fret of the 3rd string. And now this part. That's a hammer-on pull-off from the 2nd fret of the 3rd string to the 4th fret of the 3rd string. Then hitting the 4th fret of the 4th string and then the 2nd fret of the 4th string. What are we doing there? We're sliding up to the 3rd of A, and then we've got this thing. And what that is, that's a little melody that's going from the 4th, 3rd, 2nd of A, but it's harmonized in thirds. So above the, we've also got, and that, what that means is we've just gone up the A major scale 2 degrees on each melody note, and that's how we found that harmony. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so that's how we get that harmony. Now we're kind of just in a G position or A position, A shape, and then this last bit, those are just notes in a major pentatonic. And yeah, it's just a little lick so that we can go into the next part, which is the first part that we have in over a D chord, which sounds like just that. So just make a normal D shape. That's second fret of the first string, third fret of the second string, second fret of the third string, and also the open fourth string, which is a D. And so the first thing we're doing is playing the open fourth string along with the first two strings, and then we're playing the third string. Then it suddenly goes to A for one beat, and so just take off the middle finger there and play the open fifth string, A, and the second fret of the second string and the second fret of the third string. So, and then quickly transitioning to B minor, where we're going to play the second fret of the fifth string along with the open second string. I can't remember exactly how he articulates that chord, but you know, something like that, and then let's say the second string, the third fret of the second string, and the fourth fret of the third string. That's just the minor third and the root again. So something like, and then this kind of walk back into E, which is just the second fret of the fifth string, the fourth sliding into the fifth fret of the fifth string, and then the second fret of the fourth string, E. So, and then we're back in E. So just get that D-shaped E chord and do hammer-ons. Hammer up, off, hammer on, off. That's the seventh fret of the fourth string. And then playing that chord and hitting the bass. Seventh fret of the fourth string. Hammer on, off. And let's go down to the second fret of the third string instead of using our pinky there, just because we're going to be moving down. And then we're finally back to A. And that's a nice little, Ry Cooder does this a lot as well. It's on, you know, countless of his songs, but Boomer's Story has basically the same turnaround on it. That is a kind of, again, a major pentatonic thing. So it's second fret of the third string, pulling off from the fourth fret of the fourth string to the second fret of the fourth string, and then hammering from the third fret of the fifth string up to the fourth fret of the fifth string, then second fret of the fourth string, then second fret of the third string, and then finally the open fifth string. So like I said, that's just a major pentatonic thing, except it's got this kind of classic bluesy hammering from the minor third to the major third. You know, it's pretty par for the course in this kind of music. And then finally, I can't remember how he does this on the recording I'm talking about, but some kind of walk back into A. Or something like that. So that's either on the open sixth string, up to the second fret, up to the fourth fret, and then, you know, whatever you're doing at A, or that's Robbie Robertson, On the Way. Been laying my head, hey mister, can you some kind of lead back into A. You can think of something for that. And okay, so yeah, that's the whole intro. And the intro is the same as the rest of the song. Obviously, if you're singing, you're probably less able to do some of the licks done on here, but the kind of concept is the same. Just doctor comes around, his face all right, and he says, in a little while you'll be all. I don't know, I haven't practiced doing that. Yeah, but that's the whole song. I hope you found this interesting or educational. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.